In this video, we'll explore how to execute commands on remote systems using Secure Shell, or SSH. Secure Shell is a powerful tool that enables you to securely access and manage remote servers. We'll cover the basics of running commands remotely and delve into more advanced techniques for automation and security. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Secure Shell? Well, Secure Shell stands for Secure Shell Protocol. It's an encrypted network protocol, meaning it uses encryption to protect the data transmitted between your computer and the remote server. Secure Shell is commonly used for secure remote login, allowing you to access and control a remote computer as if you were sitting right in front of it. By default, Secure Shell uses port 22 for communication. Here are some examples of Secure Shell connections. To connect to a remote server, you use the Secure Shell command followed by the username at hostname. For example, Secure Shell admin at 192.168.100 or Secure Shell user at example.com. Now let's dive into the heart of the matter: executing commands remotely. The beauty of Secure Shell is that you can run commands on a remote server without even logging in. Just specify the command you want to run, and Secure Shell will execute it and return the output to your local terminal. The Secure Shell session automatically closes after the command is executed. This method is ideal for quick tasks and scripts. Here's the basic syntax: Secure Shell, username at hostname, followed by the command you want to execute in single quotes. For example, to check the disk space on a remote server, you can use the command Secure Shell admin at server 1, and then the command df-h in single quotes. To check the system uptime, you can use Secure Shell user at 192.168.1.10, and then the command uptime in single quotes. Let's explore some real-world examples of executing commands remotely with Secure Shell. First, to check the system uptime, you can use the command Secure Shell user at server uptime. The output will show how long the system has been running and the number of users currently logged in. To list the files in a directory such as /var/log, you can use Secure Shell user at server ls/la/var/log. This will display a detailed list of all the files and directories in the specified directory. To check running processes, you can use Secure Shell user at server psaux pipegrept. This will show all the processes related to Nginx. To check network connections, you can use Secure Shell user at server netstat-tuln. This will display a list of all the active network connections on the system. Secure Shell also allows you to run multiple commands in a single line. This can be achieved by using semicolons to separate the commands. Commands are executed sequentially, one after the other. You can also use and symbols for conditional execution, which means a command will only run if the previous command was successful. Remember to enclose multiple commands in quotes to ensure they are treated as a single command. Here's an example of running multiple commands with semicolons. Secure Shell user at server in single quotes cd/var/log semicolon ls/la semicolon df-h. This will first change the directory to /var/log, then list all files and directories, and finally display the disk space usage. For conditional execution with and you can use Secure Shell user at server in single quotes make directory -p test and echo created. This will only create the directory test if it doesn't already exist, and then print created. Variables can be defined and used within remote commands. For example, Secure Shell user at server in single quotes dir =/tmp semicolon cd $dir semicolon ls/la. This will first define the variable dir to be /tmp, then change the directory to /tmp, and finally list all the files and directories in /tmp. Let's delve into some advanced Secure Shell command techniques that will empower you to perform more complex tasks remotely. You can run commands with superuser or sudo to perform actions that require administrative privileges. For example, secure shell, user at server in single quotes, sudo space system control space restart space Nginx. This will restart the Nginx server on the remote machine. Alternatively, you can use echo password pipe sudo-s command, but this method is generally not recommended due to security concerns. It's better to configure password-less sudo for automation. You can also redirect the output of remote commands to files on the remote server. To redirect the output to a remote file, you can use secure shell, user at server in single quotes, ls space -law greater than sign /tmp /listing.txt. To append to a remote file, you can use secure shell, user at server in single quotes, echo done greater than sign /tmp /log.txt. Environment variables can be set and used within remote commands. To set and use variables, you can use secure shell, user at server in single quotes, export space db equals mysql echo $db. This will set the environment variable db to mysql and then print its value. You can also pass local variables to remote commands. For example, you can set myvar equals test and then use secure shell, user at server echo $myvar . This will pass the value of the local variable myvar to the remote command. Command substitution allows you to use the output of one command as input to another command. To use command output, you can use secure shell, user at server in single quotes, echo free space $$ df space -h space /. This will display the amount of free disk space on the remote server. You can also use backticks for command substitution, but this is an older style. For example, secure shell, user at server in single quotes, echo date backtick. Now let's explore how you can incorporate secure shell into shell scripts to automate repetitive tasks and streamline your workflow. Automation offers numerous benefits, including the ability to automate repetitive tasks, perform batch processing across multiple servers, schedule maintenance tasks, monitor systems and send alerts, and ensure a consistent execution environment. Here's an example of a shell script that checks the disk space on multiple servers. The script starts with shebang /bin/bash, which specifies the interpreter for the script. The script then defines a variable called servers, which contains a list of server host names. It also defines a variable called threshold, which sets the disk space usage threshold. The script then loops through the list of servers. For each server, it prints a message indicating that it is checking the server, and then uses secure shell to connect to the server and run the command df space -h pipe grep /dev /sda1 to check the disk space usage. Now let's explore some best practices and security considerations to ensure that you are using secure shell effectively and securely. Always use secure shell keys for authentication instead of passwords for better security and automation. Set proper file permissions for private keys and config files. The recommended permission is 600. Never include passwords or sensitive data directly in command lines or scripts. Configure the .secure shell /config file for easier connections and custom settings. Enable Control Master and Secure Shell config to reuse connections for better performance. Properly quote and escape special characters in remote commands to avoid shell interpretation issues. In summary, Secure Shell enables secure remote command execution. Commands can be chained and scripted. Use secure shell keys for secure automation. Properly escape special characters. Here are some additional resources for further learning. Explore Secure Shell config file options, Secure Shell tunneling and port forwarding, Secure Shell agent forwarding, and Advanced Secure Shell security hardening. Here are some useful tools: Secure Shell Pass, non-interactive password off, Secure Shell Copy ID, deploy Secure Shell keys, Secure Shell file system, mount remote file systems, and Ansible advanced automation. Here is some documentation: Man Secure Shell manual pages, Man Secure Shell config options, Open Secure Shell official documentation, and Linux command reference. Thank you. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.